In today's episode, we are going to explore the Jackson Clutch. This boat has become my favorite this season. I have fun in this boat on just about any river, be it Class 2 eddy lines or Class 4 creeking. The high rockered bow combined with the lower rockered stern provides a great balance of play and capability. You will feel a lot of edge control with the full planing hull. However, you will be able to disengage the edge and change direction easily. This boat feels nimble with great initial and secondary stability. The clutch's outfitting comes with the Unishock bulkhead, bee's knees, and the Sherlock backband. As long as you fall in the weight range and can fit a boat with relatively lower knees, you'll probably come to the same conclusion as me. It's a quiver killer. On the note of weight range, I find it unfortunate Jackson decided against making a large, medium, small. They came up with an incredible design that can handle a broad range of paddling, but has a limited range of paddler sizes. Hopefully, as the clutch gains popularity, they'll release a large and a small. As the main part of my 2025 kayak season starts to slow down, it's time for my end-of-season reviews to begin. I'm 5'10" and usually around 190 pounds. I've come up with categories I personally look for in a creek boat. These categories being stability, edges, boofability, comfort, slide ability, speed, control, and rollability. I'll give each category a score, using a scale from 1 to 5. 1 being the worst, and 5 being the best. Then I'll break down my reasons. At the end of my review, the boat will receive a scorecard that you can then pause and write down, hopefully helping you when weighing the options of what boat best suits your style. Before I begin, let's summarize the scorecards of boats I have already reviewed. Alright, we have lots to talk about, so let's dive into the Jackson Clutch. Stability, 4.5. I'm giving the stability of the Jackson Clutch a 4.5, and here's why. The moment you're in the water, you'll notice the primary stability. As you lean to the side, you'll start to feel the secondary stability take over. The secondary stability is good until you reach about 80 to 90 degrees. Once you reach this point, the boat will tend to flip. It's great until it isn't. However, I prefer this to the injurious secondary stability where you can get stuck on your side. I feel very comfortable on Class 4 with the stability of this boat. Edges, 5. The edges of the clutch are a near perfect combination of engagement and looseness. The transfer from one edge to another is probably the smoothest I've ever felt. Surfing this boat is amazing and you don't feel grabbed. You may find it hard to believe you're in an 85-gallon boat with how it handles a wave. The boat spins with ease and it climbs out of holes. It took me many tries to get it into a side surf my first time in a hole, as the edges kept climbing up and over the foam pile. This can be seen as a challenge or a benefit of the design depending on your use. but it's very confidence inspiring knowing that the boat's design is helpful in getting you out of a stopper. Boofability. 5. A lot of people claim the Nirvana has auto boof. The bow of the medium Nirvana, yep, that's the bow of the clutch. Between the bow rocker, cutaway stern rocker, edges, and the 45-pound weight, boofing this boat feels effortless. I love the way the clutch goes over drops, skipping out at the bottom. This boat floats over holes like they aren't even there, and accelerates much like the reactor when the tail is loaded. When riding up waves, for wave wheels, kickflips, or straight up just catching air, the clutch absolutely launches. The waves don't even have to be that big. It's been so much fun learning to kickflip in the clutch. Its lightweight, pivot point, and quick acceleration make this boat an absolute blast to throw around. Comfort. 4. I have never been the biggest fan of Jackson outfitting. I think this is mainly stemming back from when I paddled the Antics 2. In the Antics, I constantly had the ropes getting out of adjustment, especially the foot block. That being said, I haven't had these issues with my clutch, and with my bee's knees fitted further back, I am very comfortable. I think Jackson and Waka have the best back bands in the game. I did replace the thigh braces, hip pads, and back band in my Zet Ninja 2 with Jackson outfitting. The seat is very easy to adjust, and I played with it a little bit. I moved the seat one back and found that the bow sat higher, but it was more difficult to tailie, so I put it back to factory. I found that the seat angle was hurting my hamstrings my first few times out, so I used foam to lift the front of the seat, making it angled downwards towards the back of the seat. This was actually recommended by my physiotherapist. Slideability. 1.5. The clutch does many things well, but with a full planing hull, sliding isn't one of them. And more importantly, I do not trust the Jackson's customer service when dealing with obvious defects in their boats. A point that I would like to address. The paddling community is a relatively small one, and word gets around quick. I give a manufacturer of whitewater boats a pretty high benefit of the doubt. However, when I see it happen to my friends and people in my local paddling community, I start to become skeptical. I have 3 personal friends who have had issues with their Jackson Rockstar 5s. All 3 of these were the results of an obvious defect in the plastic's integrity or design. Even more disappointing than the issues themselves was how Jackson Kayaks handled all 3 situations in pretty much the same fashion. They were in no hurry to reply. I'm talking weeks. Then after additional pressure, they would reply with a skeptical response, not validating the customer who just paid $2,500 Canadian, and it goes up each year. Jackson's customer service would then find any reason they could to deny the customer's issue, accepting no responsibility, despite numerous cases of cockpit rims breaking on the Jackson Rockstar 5. Then offering to send a new boat at cost with the customer responsible for shipping. This is the equivalent to buying a brand new boat from the store. That is not compensation. There's no doubt Jackson has a great team of paddlers, and they have been great ambassadors for the sport. It makes me confident they will want to address these flaws and maintain that reputation. The company has some great boats, the clutch being at the top of that list. It's absolutely reasonable that a customer who puts out that kind of money has the right to expect a quality product that should come in the initial purchase and after purchase support. A 1.5 is from the fact that it's hard to trust a product the manufacturer doesn't back. Therefore, sliding over the river bottom without confidence of durability or customer support comes at a greater cost, literally. Moving on. Speed, 4. The clutch has the ability to accelerate quickly and reach its top speed. At top speed, it performs very well, whether you're doing cross-current moves, driving up a wave, or riding over holes. The clutch's speed is similar to the Dagger Indra. Control, 5. With how well Jackson balanced this boat, it seems to handle anything I throw at it with ease. Using a Lord of Rings analogy, the clutch is kind of the one boat to rule them all. While boats like Rippers and Ninjas get their control and stability with speed, the clutch has an uncanny ability to be stable and controlled when on edge and on flat water at low speeds. It can cross eddy lines sideways where other boats would trip up. Much like the bow's contribution to its boofing prowess, the stern hull has a clean departure line from the primary planing surface, somewhat like the reactor, giving the clutch a shorter waterline, lower speed, stability, and control. Like how this boat is able to competently float around the river, allowing me the ability to put it anywhere I want it to be. The acceleration allows you to drift up to the horizon lines, then quickly apply speed where needed. And lifting the bow to get more rocker or initiate a pivot turn is done with ease. It can also do controlled tailies on a good eddy line with a little practice. I can jump in the clutch and instantly adapt to it because it is so predictable in how it handles. Rollability, 4. The roll you do with the clutch is not snappy, however, it isn't difficult. I can back deck and sweep roll the clutch, and while it doesn't feel effortless like the reactor, I have never had any issues. Wow, we've been through a lot. I think this might be the longest end of season review. Let's tally up some points. I just gotta get my tally machine thingy out. Alright, punching in the values, let's see what we get. The results are in. Gord is the father? That's not right. Anyways, we have a total score of 82.5. Although the clutch is my favorite boat this season, the score is lower than the others for the reasons I have explained. Predominantly concerns in the construction quality and customer service. Happy to add that in at least one of the cases I know of, Jackson Kayaks reached out and made right with the buyer. It is really unfortunate that such concerns hover over this boat, which has amazing performance. Probably the one knock, pardon the pun, against it being the best in class among the creek slices, or sporty creek boats. I like to call them sporty creek boats. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Was I too hard on Jackson? Do you agree? What scores would you give stability, edges, boofability, comfort, slideability, speed, control, rollability? What would you give it? Let me know in the comments. Thank you, and I appreciate y'all.